Welcome to Berardi and Coke, brought to you by the Art to Know Better podcast. I am Karl, and I'm joined today by Adam. How are you getting on?
I'm good, mate. You?
I'm not too bad.
Speech special is good, isn't it?
It fucking has. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So we'll just kick off the show. We're going to get a few guests on, and we'll chat to you all in a few minutes.
Can't wait to see you.
You too.
There we are then. So welcome again. So Burnley.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Didn't enjoy that one bit. No, not even for about 70, 80 minutes.
I honestly don't think anybody would have enjoyed that game. Even Burnley fans would have been pissed off for that. It was just a shocking game for me.
Yeah, for me personally, I thought we could have done everything that we do normally a lot better. It just wasn't there at all. There was no mad pressure like we normally have. Like Rodrigo, you could see just before he came off, it was all about getting in and getting sorted and whatever. But there was nothing there at all about it.
No, I think it's the first time in a long time when I've watched the Leeds game and I thought there was no real pressure that we didn't, for a little part of the first half I thought we looked good, then we just sort of went to sleep. The second half, up until they scored, and I'd say the last 15 minutes we came to life a bit, but other than that, I thought it was very, very slack. Yeah. Passing was off from the first whistle. We're pulling out tackles all around the pitch. I just thought it was pretty bad.
Do you think losing Clicky so late on to it was probably part of the problem?
Possibly.
Yeah.
We don't know how much we prepared for that game and to have Clicky in there. Because I said in the main pod, I said Click's so important to how we will break down Burnley, because he's kind of like a carousel. He recycles the ball and people move off him, and we just didn't have that in midfield today.
Yeah.
So maybe that was part of it, but we can't rely on one player.
No, we can't. But at the same time, we always say we can't rely on Calvin, and we always seem to do. But when you notice a player like Click who has started going back into form in the last couple of games, he seems like a vital cog to lose in a game against a team like Burnley. They're always going to try and be a bit more physical, a bit more brutal, and we know he's a bit of a shithouse. So it's like, yeah, he is a massive miss when he's not there.
Yeah, and I think you're right. They were physical. I thought the referee had a poor game today. There were a couple of challenges that I thought was borderline. I think Ashley Barnes, how he stayed on the pitch and how he gets away being a professional footballer, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
To me, he was, and that was. We talk about Click being a shithouse, but fuck me, that guy was absolutely atrocious.
He was heavy-handed with the shithouse today.
Well, yeah, and that one on Dallas.
Yeah.
He's off the ground.
Yeah, he's fully off the ground. Fully off the ground. It doesn't matter if he's played the ball and just because Dallas is off the ground, he's fully off the ground.
So my point there, he got booked, which means the referee's taken note of it, which is great. Well done, Michael Oliver. But what's the point in these VAR systems and the virtual referee and all whatever they fucking want to dress it up as? Why aren't they going? Actually, you need to look at that. He was fucking 2 foot off the ground when he hit Dallas.
He was bang out.
So if Dallas is off the ground, how high was Ashley Barnes to fucking still connect with him?
This is the thing,
it's honestly, it was shocking.
I'm a big fan of this light touch refereeing where they're not taking these little, let's be honest, ailing flops for free kicks anymore, and I think it's all. I'm all for a good tackle, good crunching tackle or whatever, but when it's high and off the ground, and one of the main rules that they've tried to stamp out was out of control tackling. That was as out of control as it got. If you're calling Cooper's out of control from last season against Man City, that's up there. the only reason it wasn't as high as fucking as high as Cooper's was because Cooper was, or Dallas was off the ground initially.
Yeah.
He could have caught him along the knee, he could have caught him anywhere, and it makes it a sending off straight away as well. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see how the season progresses and see if there is that consistency there with the challenges that are going in, you know?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's when the FA bring in these new, leniencies and new rules, and it'll be good to get Jimmy's view on this as well, on looking off the bar. It's going to take time to bed in, We saw it last season with Bamford against Palace with the offside goal, and the decision went against him.
Hello. Hi, Russ. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Luke. I can hear you, mate. Yes, I do, mate. You okay?
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know. It looks like Adam and Karl have lost the internet, so I've just literally run upstairs. I was half enjoying watching the Scum game there, but one looked quite good, to be fair. But,
yeah, I've got that one, Malum. I've got that one in background.
Oh, have you? Wicked. It looks like they might be back. Hello, guys. Are you with us? I'll just remove them from the stream. They seem to be having some sort of issues. But sorry, Russ, I don't know how far they'd got in terms of conversation with you. And David introduced you, or
I couldn't see anything from them at all.
No, I think it's that dodgy armly internet that they've got going on over there. But we'll crack on anyway. What did you? I mean, all in all, what did you make of the game, Rusty? Was it a point rescue, do you reckon, towards the end there?
I think so, yeah, because when I saw obviously I watched the game and I thought the subs changed the game. I thought Roberts did a lot more in the 15 minutes he was on the pitch compared to Rodrigo when he was on for the 75 minutes that he was on. I thought Roberts did well. Shackleton did well when he came on. And for me, I don't know how you feel, Luke, or the listeners feel, but for me, I think we don't suit three at the back. I prefer to be a four at the back. And I think when we went to four at the back, when Cooper came on, and I know Shackleton were playing down that right hand side in front of Luke Ayling, and Ayling were tucking in at times, but when Ayling were on right back, we were linking up with Shackleton and Rafinha, and that worked well, especially with Dallas and down the other side. I don't think back three works for Leeds.
No, I'd have to agree with you, Russ. And I think even against a front two like Burnley playing, the old school 4-4-2. I still think we'd be capable and competent enough to play with four at the back there, especially when you look at some of the players we've got in the team, and we almost lose out on an attacking dimension by playing against five. Sorry, by playing with five at the back. So. Yeah, hey up, Gilly. Gilly's come to save the day as well now.
Now then, you all right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. So yeah, I mean, absolutely a point rescue towards the end. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, we're all right. I think, yeah.
Sorry, comedy of errors. Comedy of errors today.
Never mind.
All right. But yeah, no, I think first things first. I think obviously they showed a lot of energy to keep going. And we know Leeds United are going to go through till the 95th minute or whatever. But I tell you what, I was a little bit disappointed with was our build-up play today. Ayling hit the ball over the top so many times today. There was just didn't seem to be. There didn't seem to be an out, and I don't know if that's. I don't know if we should really be congratulating Burnley somewhat, because they did well to pen us in, and they did make things difficult, didn't they, Russ?
They did. Well, yeah, and at times we know Burnley can like to play that long ball forward quite a number of times, and I think they did that. And I think they resorted us to playing their style of play. If I'm honest, I think they resorted us to going long a few times, and Ashley Barnes, I think should have been sent off for that challenge on Stuart Dallas. 2-footer, nowhere near the ball. Ball had already gone. Clear red card for me. I'm not sure why he was still on the pitch. I think overall, Michael Oliver had a good game as referee. That decision not to send Ashley Barnes off was the only problem I had with Michael Oliver's performance today.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. I think Adam and Karl had touched upon that in terms of the comparison between that and Cooper's at City last season. I mean, they were pretty much the same challenge, weren't they?
Yeah, whereas with Cooper, that one with William Cooper against City last season, he was more of a after Cooper had played the ball first, whereas Barnes, the ball had already gone, and then Barnes took him out afterwards. So I think there's a slight difference there, but I see some people are drawing comparisons, and I've seen a lot of people on social media today, on Facebook, on Twitter, slating Liam Cooper today. I thought Cooper, along with Llorente, had a great game back today. I think Stroud played a few passes, which was not like him, where he kept getting ball away. Yes, Cooper gave ball away a couple of times, but then once he gave ball away, Cooper recovered, whereas Stroud didn't really recover quick enough, and had to let Llorente and Cooper get back to cover instead.
I'd agree with you. I think Cooper was probably the best of our back five today. I actually picked him out for man of the match. He got a few. As you do online, you get a few people jumping down your throat. I also thought Jack Harrison was was all right. I don't think he was as bad as people made out. I thought Jack Harrison offered something, and if you watched the game, sort of rather than obviously not just following the ball around, but Loughton and Goodmanson almost were marking him for 90% of the game. He had both of those players on him, which made life difficult, but he still managed to find those little areas of space and little moments of opportunities with Dallas overlapping. Adam, Karl, are you with us now?
I hope so. Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Hey!
Welcome
Come here,
on.
lads.
Well, thank you.
Has Karl put 50 pence in the Armley meter at the end of the road?
I think it did, yeah. I think it was
We're back. Don't worry about us. The dream team are here.
how much of
Yeah.
earlier could you hear?
Could you hear anything we said? We had a right conversation.
No, I could hear when he had his headphones in, but as soon as his headphones come out, I couldn't hear anything at all.
To tell you what it is, it's because they've both been supping all afternoon. They've probably knocked the wire out the wall or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they probably unplugged the microphones that they were using.
So all in all, that performance then, Russ, what are you going to give it out of 10 in terms of a Leeds away performance?
I'd probably say 5. There's need to be a bit of work to be done. I think we didn't start like we normally do away from home and didn't take the game to the opposition like we normally do and we didn't really counter attack quickly like we know we can do with and get Rafinha and Harrison on the ball a bit more and give the service to Bamford. I thought Bamford were large partly were isolated, but we did well to come back and recover balls quite a few times.
Yeah, what you got to say about that, Karl? Do you think it's quite spot on?
I'd agree with a lot of what Russ is saying there. Like, I thought, for me, sitting there, I thought Sturridge had a fairly solid game. He was asked to kind of mark Chris Wood out of it and stuff like that. And it wasn't an easy thing to do. Chris Wood's an experienced centre forward who will bully players a lot. And for Sturridge to come out of the battle the way he did, I thought he played quite well. But I thought on the wings we were quite slow in the build-up. Until Shaq came on, I thought maybe we could have done with him a little bit earlier, I think. I thought Raf was a bit off form until Shaq came on, and then it was kind of a new lease of life, a new bit of energy for him, and you could see him just kind of a bit more focused in what he was doing in running and challenging for the ball and trying to win free kicks and get the ball in the box. We were saying here, Calvin looked like he was a tackle away from a red card.
He was living life on the edge at one point. I forget who he tackled. He came in and he milliseconds got his toe to the ball. I think it was the what's their best player called? That Dwight McNeil, wasn't it? Yeah. I think it was him. I think he just pipped him to it, and I thought, you know what? He's walking a bit of a tightrope here, is Calvin. It's one of them games where he sort of tends to get, when things aren't going right. You know what it's like if you've ever played the game. Things don't go right, you don't go your way. You've got to start putting your foot about. You feel like you're sort of carrying the weight of the team. I thought, just to sort of echo what you said, I thought that was probably one of Raf's worst games for us ever in a Leeds shirt. I've looked at the stats. He lost possession 26 times today.
Jeez, that's not like him at all.
26 times.
Luke, I just want to say I don't think today was Rafinha's worst game for us. I think his worst game. I know no lot of team played well in the first game, but I thought in that first game against Scum, I thought Rafinha weren't on form like he was the last season against them at Old Trafford when there were no fans there. I think the occasion at Old Trafford with fans there gone is back a bit, and I think it was I think that game against Scum, first game of the season, were worse than today. I thought today he showed some bright sparks, and before Shackleton came on, but I think, like also when Shackleton came on, gave him that new lease of life, and he got forward a bit more. And I just want to say to Karl and his friend there, I don't know what you both think, but I think Tyler Roberts as well changed the game along with Shackleton when he came in, and I think Roberts did a lot more in the 15 minutes he was on than what Rodrigo did in the entire 75 minutes that he was on the pitch. I don't know what you two guys think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I said the same to Carl, and I said, the subs got us back in the game because up to then we were pedestrian. We were. Let's be honest. Again, I thought I'm always critical when it needs to be, and I thought we were shit again for 75 minutes. I don't think we did anything right, and I think the subs made it. I think Roberts. Looking at it now in hindsight, I think Roberts probably, when you see what Rodrigo did in that match, which was very little, would you have played? Looking back in hindsight, would you have gone with Roberts?
I think that's a little unfair. I thought Rodrigo looked quite good in the first half, and I think other than one or two wayward passes, he created quite a bit, some good through balls for Paddy and that. But yeah, he's not living up to his 27 million quid or whatever we paid for him, is he? And I don't know if we're being slightly overcritical because he is playing out of position. He's not a 10. We're trying to make a world class number 9 playing a number 10 role, and we've spoke about this before, Carl. Why? And they must have looked at this in training. I mean, Bielsa's an absolute genius. So what? But it almost feels as if Paddy should be playing in that 10 spot. And Rodrigo in front of him sometimes, but then would you lose, the defensive pressure that Paddy offers you? Then do you know what I mean? It's so difficult, and I think it sort of goes back to where we are in terms of recruitment, and because we haven't got all those midfielders and that novelty, especially with Click out today and Firpo, which meant Dallas then had to play at left back. We almost had a makeshift midfield in there, which wasn't ideal, was it? But ideally, I think Bielsa does see that Rodrigo's not the fit for there anymore. In there it will be Dallas and Click when they're fit. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, a little bit downbeat. I was buzzing that we managed to rescue a point. Do you think there was a point in the first half when we were playing some lovely stuff towards the end when Burnley looked to be tiring? I thought they were there for the taking. I thought as long as they don't score, we'll absolutely tonk them over in the second half, and we'll What's up with Adam? He's tickling his nose.
We were actually saying here as well the same thing. Like if we can just get that first goal and just go from there, you know what I mean? It's like again, going back to the Shackleton and Rafinha thing, maybe we needed that fresh legs in there, and we needed to get Tyler Roberts in a little bit earlier as well, perhaps, and take Rodrigo out of that 10 spot, because when it happened, Tyler was quite effective in there, and you couldn't take him away from potentially starting ahead of Rodrigo in the next game just to see what he can do from the off.
Well, the next game is Liverpool, so.
Yeah, we're hoping. Obviously, I'm hoping. Obviously, Click and Firpo might be back for Liverpool. We play them obviously next Sunday, don't we? So I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know how ill they are. I know it's 10 days. Firpo mentioned on his post that he'd been in isolation for a couple of days at least. So whether or not they'll be available would be interesting. Russ, you mentioned there about Tyler Roberts being more influential on a better option in there at 10. Would you, if Click isn't available, would you be tempted then going into Liverpool to start Roberts at 10 rather than Rodrigo?
For me, I probably wouldn't start him against Liverpool. I'd probably start Shackleton in the number 10 against Liverpool rather than Roberts. I think Roberts will do well coming off of the bench. Yeah, he can actually play that. Because he can actually play that well. He's done that in pre-season, and I think if Click's not back, I'll put Shackleton in there. And I'd probably, if Firpo's back, but Click isn't, I'd put Dallas alongside him in midfield, so you'd have Dallas and Shackleton just behind the strikers, and maybe say Shackleton be further advanced, or maybe Dallas just have a further advanced, push Shackleton alongside, and then can interchange, and then Shackleton can and then Shackleton say if Ayling gets caught out of position, Shackleton can get caught, run straight back and cover because he's got that energy to get back. You saw it a couple of times when he moved inside the box today when it looked like Harrison would have put a cross in. He got cleared out and it was him who ended up coming back and knocking it back to Meslier and then getting the ball back from Meslier to go forward on another attack.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair reflection, mate. To be fair, who was at fault for the goal then? What for their goal? It was a comedy of errors. I think if you watch it back, Meslier makes a great save from I think it's Chris Wood's header, and he knocks it onto the bar. There just didn't seem to be any reaction, did there, Russ? I just thought it didn't feel like a Leeds team that were all and hold this against me if you will, but it just didn't seem that same Leeds team that beat the Super Six. Played really well against the Super Six towards the end of last season, where they were all scrapping for each other. They were first to every second ball. That energy just doesn't seem there at the minute. And do you think that's because we haven't got our favoured midfield there? We've got obviously Click out. We're having to reshuffle and does it go back to what you say there, Russ, about playing five at the back? But why isn't that energy?
No, normally when you look at teams that play five at the back, like I said with Wolves, they do it too. They've done it for quite a while now. When they've got five at the back, the wing backs get the ball and push up really quickly. Whereas today when we got the ball out wide to Ayling and Dallas in the first half, Dallas mainly was slowing it down, looking for Harrison to go on the up. And if Dallas we were looking for looking for passes, whereas if you're playing three at back, you need to always have movement in front of you, and we didn't really have that in the first half when Shackleton came on. You saw what Shackleton did. He played the ball inside to Karl and Phillips. Then he moved forward, which gave Ayling a chance to move forward to get the pass from Phillips, and then move it on to Rafinha, then back into Shackleton. Whereas in the first half, we didn't really have that movement with the three at the back. It's if Cooper got the ball forward and played to Dallas, then there were no movement, so Dallas had to stop, slow it down, look for an option. Yeah. Whereas when Shackleton came on, there was always an option for Shackleton. I think that's where Shackleton's energy, it brings that more options and movement in, and he pulls people out of position because he saw Neil, he was out wide with Shackleton. Shackleton came in, Neil got pulled inside, so Ayling could vacate that place and get place to go.
Charlie Taylor right.
And double with Rafinha on Charlie Taylor.
I think you're right, Russ.
I think, Luke, if I can step in, I'm going to say the goal. We didn't push out. They had. I think they put the ball in 3 times before they scored. And I'm going to put my Mad Adam head on the line here and say that Ayling was to blame for that goal, because if you look at the second time the ball came in, Ayling went to defend the goal line. Played everybody onside, and then we should have been fucking screaming and pushing up, and we just weren't. So when that ball came in, Ayling is now up Woody.
That's difficult. It's difficult for Ayling, I think, because the ball's come in, Adam, from pretty much. I mean, not the byline, but it's coming in from a cross. And to get fair enough, once the cross has been defended, then they should be moving out. But to do that in the space of a couple of seconds, I think it's been a little bit overcritical.
No, because I'm not saying that. Because what I'm saying is Cooper got a great header on that, and then we just didn't push out. So it's for me, that is basic defending. We should have all pushed out. People started to move. You can see a few players moved. Ayling stepped back onto the goal line, and then when the cross then came in, which then led to I think it was Matt Loughton, the right back, having a free shot on goal from the 6 yard from the penalty spot. That's, we've still got Ayling on the goal line blocking Meslier. So for me, that for me is on Ayling. I thought Ayling were poor against Everton, and I said that, and I'll stand by that. And I thought he was poor today again.
I thought he was one of our probably one of our worst players today, to be honest with you. So positives then. What positives can we take out of that other than the obvious, where we've mentioned Karl, we've mentioned Shaq's brought that additional energy, and obviously Tyler Roberts is looking a little bit more lively in the middle when he's getting an opportunity. what are the positives do you think we could take into the Liverpool game?
I think the fact that we can start to, we're looking like a team who can grind out a result if needed. Like I think today, for 75 minutes, we didn't look like we were going to get anything out of it, and then we just stepped it up a gear. And like, if we can show the same kind of determination towards the end of games against the likes of that kind of team, where we haven't looked like we can get anything out of it and we get a point, I'll take that. You know, it keep us up, but I think we'll need a little bit more going forward against Liverpool. I think
have we become a worse team than last year?
I don't think we've become a worse team than last year.
I think when I say it in reflection of results. Obviously, we went there and spanked them 4-0 last season.
Yeah, but I also saw someone say, I don't know who it was online. I'll find out and I'll repost. But they were saying because Burnley had already become safe by the time we played them, that they felt it was a nothing game.
It's a fair point.
Maybe Burnley were already on their holidays or whatever. But look, we're not going to get we're not going to be as quick a starter as we would have been in the Championship, where we took off like a train in the Championship and we just it was all uphill but this is a different league we're in now, and if we don't get off to the same kind of start, it's not the end of the world. We're not playing 2 games a week like we were in the Championship. We have time to recuperate now as well. We've got a week now. We've got a fortnight now until our next game against Liverpool. But even if the international breaks weren't there, we'd still have that week kind of break to kind of get recuperated and get ready for the next game. So. I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Look at it.
No, and it's not like as you mentioned there about grinding out a difficult result. I feared the worst when we went 1-0 down at Burnley, because they're a team that naturally sits back and long ball over the top, real direct and boring, anti-football. And when we went 1-0 down, I thought we're probably not going to get an equaliser against a team that sits back and takes a beating sort of 80% of their season. But yeah, the positive out of that is that we did keep coming forward and we managed to find that additional something that got us the goal, albeit a little bit of class from Raf Shaks, and then a bit of luck, I think, from.
I think so, but that's the thing, isn't it? Rafinha sees things that the rest of the team don't see. It's like he just. The way that he came back on his left-hand side, it's like he could see what was going to happen before it happened. Like, his vision's unbelievable. And the way that he checks back. And then when Shaq, that led for Shaq coming in on that. And you said Rafinha lost the ball 26 times or whatever it was. But that's the difference, isn't it? And that Rafinha keeps going into them positions and he keeps his vision. He's almost a couple of steps ahead of everybody in that team. So we've always got a chance of getting back in it, and
yeah. I agree. I think we seem to play better against teams as well, either at Ellen Road, so where we almost force them into not playing anti-football, or against the teams that are expected to come and actually do a job on us. I mean, albeit we can't really use the scum game here, Russ, as an example, because we were shit. But when we're playing teams like Liverpool and City and the other teams that should be probably pushing top 6, we tend to sort of not only up our game, but it suits our style of football better. Do you think that's a fair reflection, Russ?
I do, Lou. Yeah, I think when we play against those teams, especially at home, we always push out and try and catch them, try and get that early goal, and we fans now we've got that extra man to get us over the line, to get us either a point or even 3 points on occasions. Away from home, we've got like another 12th man with however many we take away from home. Never stop singing as well. And when we played them first time around last season, and then second time. You just look at where we played them second time around from last season against the so-called Big Six. If you're having Arsenal in there, who's no longer a Big Six club in my opinion, especially after the worst start that they've had. But if you look at the way we played against them at Ellen Road compared to their place last season, I think we suited it. We worked we looked at his mistakes from the previous game, looked at how they got through us easy, and we put Phillips on against Scum. We put Phillips on Bruno Fernandes. I think if Phillips was in that starting 11 against Scum, I don't think it would have been that as heavy, and I don't think Fernandes would have got his hat-trick. I think Phillips would have been on Fernandes again going forward. And I've seen the Scotty in from Brent. Scotty says, we're missing an impact player on the bench today. No Pablo, no replacement. And I said on another chat earlier that I do think we need someone of similar ilk to Pablo. We need that sort of replacement in that number 10. We could have got Conor Gallagher. He opted to go to Crystal Palace for more game time. I think if we get someone like that and offer him game time, regular game time, whether that's coming off of the bench every week or coming off bench impressed in training, then you getting ahead of, say, Rodrigo in that if Click's out, getting in there, or if Dallas had to go to left back because Fairpoint's not available, play alongside Click, I think could get someone in. And I saw a few comments over there, and I'm not sure what Carl or you think, Luke, but I saw a few comments and a few people after the Everton game thinking, say, what about trying Rodrigo?
Who?
Sorry, I've lost you there, Russ.
Move Rodrigo. Yeah, what I said was move Rodrigo from the centre, put him out wide, and move Rafinha into the middle, and try Rafinha in the 10 role and see if that works. Because Rodrigo played as a winger for Valencia and did well, or as a striker, he didn't really play that number 10 role, whereas Rafinha, Ren did play number 10 at times or on wing, so Rafinha can actually play there. I wonder if we swap him around, it may work better to our advantage against those teams. They'll be expecting Rafinha to play out wide, but he's more playing in number 10 and Rodrigo playing out wide. I wonder if that would work if we don't have Click available.
Fair point. What do you think about that, Karl?
That's a good shout as well. I think what you suggested wouldn't be something that would probably be out of the ordinary for Bielsa to think of, really. I think the way a lot of our players probably best benefit from each other is a bit of a rotation in the front line, where they can swap sides or they can swap who's in the middle. Give them that license to be able to make that decision dependent on where they are in the pitch or whatever, and like the players we have are very much football and brains on them. They know when to come and when to go. But I think a lot of those kind of things, but we should just rotate players in positions. Raf is dangerous, like Russ said, when he plays on the inside, and Rodrigo is dangerous when he plays on the outside. And if you could work it in such a way that the passage of play kind of runs where one swaps with the other to kind of confuse the opposition, then I don't see why it'd be an issue. But I don't know about permanently swapping them in that sense, really. I think Raf's very dangerous.
Yeah, it's fair.
In there, and he showed it with that bit of link-up play with Shackleton today as well,
Yeah. So we've covered the positives going into Liverpool. Now I'm sure there's probably going to be enough negatives with Adam being on the pod. So we'll start with you, Adam, and what was the real negatives to take out today? Then, other than obviously the obvious, was there anything that you saw that the naked eye might not have done? I'm not asking you to put Traore up front or anything like that. Nothing too mad. But was there anything in particular that that was frustrating?
The Traore thing, I didn't see that coming, boys. There was a lot of negatives, I think, from that. Yeah, I think at some point this season we're going to see that early, like there's certain players that I think have reached their peak and they're going to have to be replaced. I think we see
They're past it, are they? They're past it, Carl.
I'm not saying they're past it. I'm not going Casco on this one, but I don't think I think Erling. I think he outplayed himself last season. I think I just don't see how he's going to keep the level that we need him to be. So that's a negative straight away.
Just on Ayling before we move on. It was when that England squad was announced, there was a high percentage of Leeds fans that thought he was probably good enough to potentially get a call up. Do you think then because you from what you said there, you've said that he was playing above his station pretty much. That he was playing an extra 10% than he ever will again. Do you think he's now dropped back down and he's just absolutely not good enough for Premier League football, or do you think he's a steady Premier League player? Where do you see him? Is what I suppose what I'm getting at.
I don't know. I honestly, for me, I think he's got something. He's the same level as Cooper in my opinion, where they are on their day. What gets them through is blood, guts, and determination, and unfortunately, that will not carry you through a full season.
See, I think I've got a bit of a theory on that, and it goes back to what Russ said earlier. I don't think Ayling suits playing in a back five or a back three, however you want to look at it. In a back four, when he's got that license to go forward, he's far. He offers far more, and he works with Rafinha far better, and Rafinha plays better on the back of it. So, whilst I think he's been poor, I think because we've been playing with a back three or five, however you want to look at it. I think that's been relatively detrimental. Would you say that's a fair reflection, Russ? When you say we play poorly as a back five or a back three, however, like I said, with wing backs, where do you think we miss out most? Obviously, we miss out centrally because we've only got two in midfield. But where else does it start to negate and become shite?
Probably how wide we linking up with Phoenix because you see Ayling quite a few times always tucking in if say Llorente or Strauss pulled out of position. You see Ayling tucking in, so then there's one less option for Rafinha to have Rafinha out. So I think if you look at it, whereas we need Ayling to go to a back four, or we need to play as a back four with fit Ayling in. If we go with a back five, I would drop Ayling and put Shackleton in a right back or right wing back so he can do that role. If we ought to play with a back four, I'd put Ayling in, and maybe I've seen a few shouts for Cody Drama to come in if we play in the back five as well, or for Ayling, but I don't think Drama's quite ready for that step up to the first team just yet. I think he needs one more year in the under-23s, get used to Bielsa's system a bit more, which they are playing in the under-23s as well. So I think maybe next year we may see Drama making that step up into the first team. But I think if we are to play back five, I'd probably go with Shackleton, a right wing back, over Ayling. Back four, go with Ayling.
Russ, what do you think of the under-23s? I think it's all bollocks, personally.
Yeah, I think we need to use them a bit more, the under-23 side. I think I'm surprised, like against Crewe, I thought some of them would have probably got a bit of game time towards the end in place of Harrison against Crewe. Didn't get on there. I thought I would have probably given him 10 minutes today towards the end when I thought Harrison was tiring a bit. But I'm surprised he's not giving him a go just yet. Maybe he's just nurturing him into the system, getting him to watch how the wingers, Rafinha and Harrison, play to put into his game the 23s level, which he's already doing as well. But I think that's a big big problem. I think we need to use him a bit more, especially Somerville. He's a cracking player, Somerville. He's one to watch for the future.
I think
today might have been a good time to maybe give him a bit of a 5-6 minute run out. You know what I mean? Just towards the end, just take off Harrison, just kind of give him a bit of a break, and then just give Somerville 5 minutes. Like
it can't hurt, can it? Just going back to what Russ was saying about trying Raf in the 10 spot. Yeah. That'd be an ideal opportunity to give him. I mean, it's probably not today. Wouldn't have been the most ideal game, but I'm surprised we haven't seen Raf played in there slightly a little bit more with Harrison and Somerville out wide. But I guess we'll see. I'm sure Bielsa knows exactly what he's doing. So yeah, we're going. So just before we let you go, Russ, can you just give us a quick score out of 10 on that Leeds performance, please, and your reasoning for it?
First off, I'd give a 5 because we went other races. Once the subs changed, I'd probably say 7 because I think we started playing this football a bit better when we made the substitutions, like I mentioned earlier. And I think going forward, if things aren't going right, back at half time, I'd fetch Shackleton on at half time and change it up a little bit at half time, and then maybe be later on fetch someone like Robertson for Rodrigo if he's continuing to play that in the midfield area in the number 10. But I think for me going forward, just before I go, I think Rodrigo is going to be, for me going forward, should be back up to Bamford as the number 9. And we maybe should see someone like, say, if Click's not available, Shackleton in that number 10, or maybe Rafinha in that number 10, and put Rodrigo out wide where he played for Valencia. And I just want to say, I watch all the stuff like on YouTube and on Twitter. It's a really good podcast to do this, and I enjoy the stuff they do with stats as well. So keep up the great work, guys, and thanks for having us on.
No, pleasure. Thank you, Ross. Cheers, mate.
And just to let you all know as well, last season when there were no crowds in any of the matches, home and away, I managed to get every single programme home and away from our debut season back in the Premier League last season, and I'm getting home and away programmes for this season as well.
I hope they're locked in your safe, Russ, and don't tell anybody your address.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, Russ.
Yeah, they're on top shelf of me. They're on top shelf of my wardrobe all last season, and this is where this season's going as well.
Cheers, Russ, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Take it
easy. Leeds.
What a lad! I tell you what, we'll have him back. I wish half of the OKB had half of his energy. Bloody hell, he's what a lad. Fair reflection though in terms of his scores and everything. I can still see him doing this in bottom of the screen. Scores then, he's obviously given us.
We love him.
He's not gone. Look, he's still here. So yeah, give us 5 for the first half and a 7 for the second. I mean a 6 overall. What you guys got anything different to say to what Russ has given us then?
What was a 3 overall? That was shit.
Yeah, I think. Tell us why. Why do you think a 3?
What do you mean? What more do I need to say? Like it was we didn't defend particularly well. We didn't push out and conceded a shit goal. We didn't. At one point in the second half, Burnley had 8 shots on goal. We'd had 1. That's not how we play football. So for me, simple. We were bollocks. We didn't deserve anything. I thought that we were girls then.
No, it's dog. I was meant to be taken him out for a walk, and then you two fucking idiots couldn't get your thing to work, so I had to jump on.
Until something happened.
I don't know what happened.
Karl, what are you saying then in terms of score out of 10? Are you gonna make it? Are you gonna give us any better feedback than Mad Adam?
I'd go with about a 4.5, 5 out of 10 for that performance. Like 10 minutes at the end where we looked like we wanted to win it wasn't what we want to see as a fan base. Like so, I think I think next time we play Burnley at home, it should be a better outcome and
A different game, do you think? Yeah.
Would hope anyway. Like so.
Somebody mentioned earlier, I can't find it on the thingies, but somebody mentioned, I think it might have been on my Twitter actually. If Firpo and Click played that game, it's a completely different game.
Yeah.
And probably a different outcome as well, because it means Dallas would have been moved up into midfield. We'd have had our energetic two midfielders in there. But yeah, I mean, I think probably somewhere in the middle of you two. I think Russ is probably slightly overzealous, and I think he's probably overscored it slightly for me anyway. I'd probably give I thought we were actually better first half than we were second half. But the last 10, 15 minutes probably rescued it. I think probably a 4 or a 5 out of 10 is probably a fair reflection.
Yeah, but we didn't do enough to merit more than that. Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if the individual scores that they get tomorrow in the paper would be any different to merit a team performance.
Yeah, fair point. So then we're going to Liverpool next week. We've obviously got what have we got coming up this week in terms of pods.
Well, we've got a pod on Tuesday again. The
main pod Tuesday.
A little bit of a chat about what we're, the Burnley game, the international break coming up, and then Liverpool.
When we get Jimmy back?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when's Jimmy on?
We want our Jimmy back.
I'll get out to Jimmy and I'll make sure it's sorted soon.
Yeah, let's get an episode of In Off the VAR lined up, because we've obviously got. I think it'd be a good conversation to have, because since the rules have been relaxed slightly on not just on VAR but refereeing rules as well, in terms of letting play continue and soft, penalty, free kicks and things like that. It'd be a good opportunity to get him on and have a chat about those rule changes and everything else that's moving on. So stay tuned.
He did mention on a couple of the pods that he was waiting on a new rule update for VAR and how refs were going about it. So he did say he wasn't able to say anything of what he knew, but clearly what he had heard, like, was the soft touch element is gone now, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, perfect. And just while we're on that, I think it benefits the game. Whereas some of the decisions haven't gone for us and Leeds, I certainly think that the referee not blowing up for every little bit of contact is definitely benefiting the game in the long term. And we'll sort of see. They'll probably even themselves out over the season. And whilst we feel hard done to now, we might get a couple later on in the season when we think, you know what, we wouldn't have got those last season. So fingers crossed. Anything else to say, guys, before we shoot?
No, I think we, as a pod, we should just mention our good friend Si and just say that we're all thinking of you, mate. We all love you. And our thoughts and prayers with everybody. That's about it from me, mate.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, yeah, stay. Well said. Stay in touch. Stay tuned. We'll see you all on Tuesday for another episode. But yeah, cheers, lads. Don't worry, I'll come and save you.